everyone, I'm Sarah of Rich Textures Crochet and welcome. Today we're going to learn how to crochet the Cameron scarf, which you can see here in front of you. Now, not too long ago I designed the Cameron Beanie, which can also be found here on my channel and website. So this is the scarf to kind of go along with that hat. Today for the tutorial, I'm going to be working with the Mandala yarn by Lion brand. I have worked my scarf in the color Kracken. Each of these balls of yarn is a 100% acrylic yarn. It's a self-stripping yarn, and there's approximately 590 yards per cake. You're going to need about 1.5 of these cakes, depending on how long you work your fringe. The scarf is quite easy to make using only a couple of crochet stitches. Along with your yarn, you're also going to need a 5mm or an H8 crochet hook and a copy of the free written instructions, which are on my website at richtexturescrochet.com. So thank you so much for joining me, and while you're here, I invite you to subscribe, take a look around. This channel is updated every single week with free crochet patterns and stitch tutorials. Now, our final scarf today measures approximately 7.5 inches by 86 inches, and that's excluding the fringe. It's worked in rows along the short end or the width of our scarf. So you're going to start by making a slip knot and then by working a foundation chain. Now for your foundation chain, you're going to need to chain 41. If you wish to change the size of your scarf, you can chain any multiple of stitches. Today I'm going to chain 41. There's 25. And 41. Once you have that foundation chain worked, we're going to work our first row, and you're going to start by working a single crochet into the second chain from your hook. You're then going to work a herringbone single crochet in each stitch all the way across. To work your herringbone single crochet, you're going to begin by first inserting your hook under the loop of the post of the previous stitch. So if you look at your stitch, you have a bar that runs vertically here along your post. You're going to insert your hook under that bar, then into the next stitch on your foundation chain, yarn over and draw up a loop. You'll then yarn over and draw through all 3 loops on your hook. That is your herringbone single crochet. You're going to repeat that all the way across. First, insert your hook under that vertical bar of the post of the previous stitch, then insert your hook into the next chain stitch, yarn over, draw up a loop, yarn over and draw through all 3 loops. Repeat that all the way across. At the end of this row, including that starting single crochet stitch, you're going to have a total of 40 stitches. At the end of your row 1, you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. Now for row 2, we're going to begin by working our single crochet into the top loops and to the top of our stitch and to the top of our first stitch. Your chain 1 does not count as a stitch. You're then going to work herringbone single crochet stitches, but in the back loop only of each stitch across. So looking at the tops of your stitch, you have a loop that is closest to you. That is your front loop, and you have a loop that is furthest away, that is your back loop. So work a herringbone single crochet, so insert your hook under the vertical post of the previous stitch, then under the back loop only of the next stitch on your scarf, yarn over, draw up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops. You're going to repeat that all the way across until only 1 stitch remains. So work a herringbone single crochet stitch in the back loop only of each stitch across until you have 1 stitch remaining. When you come all the way across and only have 1 stitch remaining, you're going to work your final herringbone single crochet stitch under both loops of that final stitch. You can then chain 1 and turn your work. Now for the rest of your scarf, you're going to simply repeat your row 2 until your work from the beginning measures approximately 86 inches. So row 2, single crochet in the top of your first stitch. Your chain 1 does not count as a stitch. Then work herringbone single crochet stitches in the back loop only of each stitch all the way across until 1 stitch remains. In that final stitch, work a herringbone single crochet into the top, working under both loops of that final stitch. Chain 1 and turn, and repeat. And that's all there is to working the Cameron scarf. I'm going to work a few more rows here, and then I'm going to show you how I like to work my fringe. So I've just decided to come over and add a fringe to the end of my finished scarf here, and I'm just going to add one more tassel here to the end. So when I'm working my tassels, I'm attaching them about every second stitch in my scarf. And what you're going to do is you're going to cut lengths of yarn. These are about 10 inches long, and you're going to cut 5 of them. You're then going to take your crochet hook and insert it through one of the stitches down at the bottom of your scarf. Grab a hold of those 5 strands of yarn and pull them through. You're then going to fold them over so that their ends meet. Next, all I do is simply take all the ends once they've been folded over together and tie a simple knot. You're then going to pull upward, making sure that the knot is there toward the end of your scarf. Once you have worked your tassels all the way across, you can take your pair of scissors and trim them all off so that they are roughly the same length. And that's all there is to working the fringe on your scarf. You can go ahead and once you've worked one end, go ahead and do the other. And that's all there is to working your Cameron scarf. So thank you so much for joining me. While you're here, I invite you to subscribe. Say hello down in the comments if you happen to make the Cameron scarf and share it on social media. Do be sure to tag Rich Textures Crochet. I always love to come by and admire your work. Until next time, happy crocheting. Bye.